Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, honorable educators, timekeeper, and my beloved opponents. My name is Alfiyyah Nurul Jauza from SMAN Negeri 1 Kota Tangerang and speaking today as the first speaker of the government team. Our motion for today is, this House believes that scholarships should only be granted on the basis of financial necessity. I, as the first speaker of the government team, strongly agree with this motion. Today, I will deliver two arguments. The first is, need-based scholarships provide a fair and biased look at the students' true academic potential, and the second is, higher education is more valuable than people prioritize it to be. Before we jump into that, scholarship is defined as an award of financial aid for a student to further their education at a private elementary or secondary school, or a private or public post-secondary college, university, or other academic institution. How scholarships work can vary by quite a bit. Some scholarships require you to apply for each year you're in school, while others are a one-time occurrence. Another way scholarships can differ is in how the money is distributed. Private scholarships may send the money directly into your bank account. Some scholarships send the money to the school, where it's used to cover your outstanding fees. Any scholarship money that is left over is usually sent back to you in the form of a check. Scholarships may not be a cash reward at all, but an in-kind reward. This is a type of non-cash reward. They may waive education-related expenses, such as the cost of tuition, textbooks, or housing. Today, there are two types of scholarships that we will be mainly talking about: need-based scholarships and merit-based scholarships. Now, on to my first argument. Need-based scholarships provide a fair and biased look at the student's true academic potential. Ladies and gentlemen, for some, attending middle school or high school can be a real hassle because of mostly two things. First, they do not have the financial aid for it, and second, it's just not right for them. Scholarships are one of the best methods to meet the expense of college. For most people, scholarships can be the only way one gets into a secondary school, but without being somewhat of a genius, the task itself seems impossible. Scholarships are broken down into two categories: need-based and merit-based. Need-based scholarships are awarded strictly based on a student's financial profile, which takes into account the student's family, assets, and income, with no consideration of the student's academic merit. Merit-based scholarships are typically need-blind, meaning that a student's financial profile is not considered when determining his or her candidacy to receive a merit award. With these preferences, students are unable to get the financial aid of their choice. By examining both of these options, need-based scholarships provide a fair and biased look at the student's true potential. This is significant. Why? Because without having a more accurate method determining which category a student falls under, some students will not get the financial aid they need for college, therefore be forced to not attend a secondary schooling. Instead of evaluating financial need, merit-based scholarship sponsors can consider any combination of merit-based factors. Some sponsors of merit scholarships only evaluate academic performance in the form of grade point averages, SAT or ACT scores, or class rank. This proves to be unfair to those who are financially incapable because they should be able to get the education they need in order to achieve their dreams. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, we want to propose that scholarships should only be granted on the basis of financial necessity. My second argument is, higher education is more valuable than people prioritize it to be. More than 85% of college students receive some form of financial aid, so there is no question that there is a lot of need at colleges and universities. The question is, how do colleges determine who is in need? And is there enough money available to satisfy that need? The answer to the first question is the same at most schools. Determining need is a simple math equation. Cost of attendance minus the expected family contribution equals the student need. The answer to the second question is no, there's never enough money. Growing up, kids aspire to be doctors, police officers, firefighters, and whatnot. They want to do something that they love for a living. In order to achieve their childhood aspirations, they first have to get 3 years of college. But the problem we are having presently is that most kids cannot even afford to attend college. Our income is the deciding factor in if we can gain higher education or not. As a result, most kids seek for assistance from scholarship sponsors to get help to pay them for college. However, more than half of the applicants get denied and do not receive any financial assistance. Instead, they are given to those who do not need it or in the end do not even take proper care of those money. Most of those who actually get their financial assistance are actually the ones who are financially capable of paying for their own tuitions. This resulted in those who are financially incapable and yet has a desire to study to be rid of their own opportunities. If the government distribute more financially to the students, then the college students' success rates would go up. Whether you are labeled lower class or middle class, we need the same financial needs when it comes to college tuition. It is not the some kind of savior to the students that want to get into expensive higher educated schools. It is a sort of disappointment for them, considering that even after all that money they are granted based off the income, they are labeled as low class and therefore cannot afford it. It is unfair to have these students reconsider their career choices based on if they can or be able to pay their way into college or not. Income should not be the deciding factor in if a student should go to school or not. Higher education is more valuable than people prioritize it to be. It is unfair to have kids debase themselves all for not being financially strong. There are kids out there that are academically acceptable to colleges but are not financially acceptable for them. So then you have colleges emphasizing financial aid, but what good does a small amount of assistance do for a whole lot of tuition? Society cannot afford to lose these millions of potential students just because they are financially unable. Just because students cannot afford college does not mean that they have no potential at all. Most have what it takes to get through years and years of college to be successful. Now, ladies and gentlemen, based on those two arguments that I have just stated, I have come to the conclusion that need-based scholarships or scholarships that are granted on financial necessity help students more by providing a fair system. With the attending college rate being so low, somebody would have to change the system, but students are still struggling out there Every student should have the opportunity to go attend a higher education, whether it's elite university or our local tech school. All students should have their choice and not let money decide. With the help of a need-based program, students will not have to worry anymore with their financial status, and students will finally be able to relax knowing their life is somewhat better. So why deprive students from success when we just have to fix one minor glitch in the system? Don't let children pay for someone else's mistake and let them live their life knowing that one day they will be successful. To close, I, as the first speaker of the government team, strongly agree with the motion that this House believes that scholarships should only be granted on the basis of financial necessity. That is all from me. Thank you.